Last Pint Productions presents The New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content and is recorded in advance. The following episode was originally recorded on December 18th, 2021. Listener discretion is advised.
So you were in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah?
Were you in the shit?
Yeah, I was in the shit.
Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain.
Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me, I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello and welcome once again to The New Way podcast, where we break down pop culture so you don't have to. I'm your host, Matt Schenk, joined in studio by a 1 year older than the last time you heard him, Benjamin Scott Wilson.
Oh, hi.
And joined in studio also by the lovely Elizabeth Fincannon Wilson. Almost blew that one. Hello.
Hello.
And joining us from his childhood bedroom.
Get my name right.
In your childhood bedroom in Baltimore, Towson, Maryland, to be specific, Mr. Nicholas Santa Croce.
I'm simply having a
frustrating
Christmas time.
I was going to be very upset if you quoted that god-awful, terrible song.
I heard a cover of that song today, and
I did too.
It was so bad.
I was trying to rack my brain why anyone would cover that song, and I came up empty.
I think Selena Gomez did a cover of it.
I think that's probably who it was. That's what it kind of sounded like. So it was Beth for my birthday, and the girls took me to Drive Shack today, which was a lot of fun. I would totally go back there. I've never been to.
Wait, Drive Shack?
Drive
the
Shack.
Fictional band from Lost?
I knew Nick was going to jump right on that one. It's what I think every time I hear that place.
No, it's the place that's the title of the B-52 song, Drive Shack, baby.
Yeah.
Drive Shack.
Okay. I like that joke less.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know that was stupid. Sorry. Anyways. But yeah, it was playing there, and I was just like, "Oh my god, how can you take the most horrible Christmas song and make it worse?"
Challenge accepted.
How dare you besmirch the name of both Sir Paul McCartney and Selena Gomez?
I know.
It's
murders by words in this building.
Well, and I'm also very, very happy to have Beth here because Beth, I don't know how much of the show you listen to, but there is
no listening.
We were not using the soundboard quite as often, and there was a clamoring amongst listeners for a specific drop they had not heard. So I played it, and then I was told again they want the whole drop and not just part of the drop. So this is a Christmas present to some of our loyal New Way listeners out there.
Designed to penetrate gently but deeply into a horse's body, working places not easily reached with massage, lasers, or other methods.
Lasers.
I cannot tell you how much it made me laugh that people were like, more Beth penetration, and then I gave it to them. They're like, too short. We want the whole penetration. There was
wording.
Yes, exactly.
Designed to penetrate.
It's not a drop. It's a whole tag. It's like your theme song. It's like 15 seconds long.
Oh, if Nick, I need to put you on this. I need you to make that a theme song.
Well,
no.
The bad part is that we've had a story that we did at Works since then that was way worse, and that they wouldn't even air it. We had to we had to take out the words horse semen.
Oh,
and horse ejaculate.
Oh my God, horse ejaculate.
Yes.
Thank you for not giving me that voiceover.
Right, exactly. So it could have been a lot worse.
You should have gotten JB Smoove on there because he says ejaculate, and that always makes me laugh.
And Nick, the person who did do that voiceover was Sam, so I can only imagine what she was thinking when she was reading it.
I think she told me about that. It was like upcoming, and she was like,
Ugh.
"Well, time to make the donuts."
So, Nick, I'm going to ask you to remove your headphones for 60 seconds.
yes,
We're going to
thank
be
you.
very quick about this, but it is we have a very quick amount of time to do this, and we do not want to give any spoilers, but Ben and I were lucky enough to get to go see the new Spider-Man movie on Thursday night. I mean, Ben, say what you said to me at the end of the movie. I don't know if you remember, but I
No,
agree.
of course I remember. I think so. Obviously, it's a movie that's predicated on all of the Spider-Man movies and all of the really pop culture and all of the Marvel universe that came before it. So it leans on all of that very hard. That being said, understanding that it could not exist without all those other movies, I think it's the best comic book movie ever made.
Yeah, it and I think, and you had a different wording, which I really liked, which is it is the most comic book movie.
Yes, it's the most comic book movie of all time.
Not necessarily that it is better in any way, but it is pure pop comic fun. And I think the thing that has been sticking with me the most after seeing it is I think this is the first time. There are two things that I think are really interesting of what's happening in the MCU right now. One is that this is the first trilogy of a character that actually feels like a beginning, middle, and end, and gets us to a specific spot where we are going to kind of move from here. And Iron Man got close, but Iron Man didn't really get closure until Endgame and Infinity War, which was really the kind of final story of Tony Stark. Whereas I feel this movie makes the other two movies that preceded it better once you kind of now get to step back and say, oh, what is the journey of this character?
Yeah, because it's way heavier than the previous two entries, but it definitely adds. I mean, because that's the thing is you watch Tom Holland grow up as Spider-Man while you're watching these movies, basically. And I think that's the journey that you...
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I really gleaned from it that I like is that what Marvel is doing with this new phase. Phase one was, kind of jumping into the unknown, using a lot of the familiar things from the comics, and just trusting in their instincts, and it managed to work out. And I think this is much more now saying, what have we been hearing from the fans? What is their feedback? Like, I feel that I'm not going to call this movie a course correction for Spider-Man in any way, but I know that there were a lot of complaints about Tom Holland, about the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies that I think were absolutely assuaged and put away by what happens in this movie. Like, I feel it really does tie up a lot of things.
I will also say it was probably one of the most electric atmospheres to see a movie in. I mean, it was incredible. Like, people cheering and crying within like 10 seconds of one another. I mean, like there were people sobbing all over the theater, like audibly sobbing.
I get the distinct impression, by the way, right now that Beth is texting Nick because he is not listening to this. So anyway, I highly recommend. I think you're going to like it. And now I'm going to tell Nick to put on his headphones.
Are you guys pillow friends?
Nick. I'm trying to point to Nick to put on his headphones. You two little texting assholes. I fucking watched Beth do her thing, then like a 5-second delay, and Nick. yeah. What's up? Very nice. Nick is showing us pogs from his childhood bedroom.
I'm finding all these things from my childhood in my bedroom. I have so much time.
Well, last time I think you recorded in there, you did a erotic reading, so maybe we should bring that back.
I wish.
Oh, no.
I don't have another one of those in me for the year.
I'll write one really quick.
Oh, we have a guest. Perfect timing. Mr. Patrick Barrett is joining us here. So we're going to welcome him into the chat. He is in a dark place.
Ooh,
hello, Patrick.
That is.
Are you wrapping your meats right now?
Oh, they're wrapped. They are protected.
Oh,
they're protected and resting.
you are outside doing your meets while you podcast with us.
Yeah, are we recorded?
Yeah, no, we're on live. You're on live, caller.
Hi, people.
Live to tape.
People, hi.
Hello.
Patrick
Mr. Nick.
is outside recording. This is a phenomenal turn of events for us. We
Okay,
finished,
Pit Boss.
We finished all of our Spider-Man talk. Although I do want to say one thing. I don't know if anyone else read the article quote with Paul Thomas Anderson this week, but for once, a fucking filmmaker didn't shit on superhero movies, but even better, he said something that 100% came true, and these are his exact words. You know what's going to get audiences back in movie theaters? Spider-Man. So let's be happy about that. Because someone is like literally trying to coax him into shitting on superhero movies or taking the thing, and he's like, no, like these are good for cinema. They are good for film. They're good for all of this. Like, why would you hate on this stuff? It's
pretty easy to acknowledge that without even getting into the movies. You don't even have to forge into like what you like or don't like about it. It's an objective point.
Absolutely.
And it made like 60 million in pre-sales or something, and you know.
Yeah, I mean they were expecting like 160 million, I think, over the course of the weekend. But also,
it went way. It's outperforming all of their shit, and it's going to top 200 million. It's breaking pre-COVID records.
From work to go see it. All the hype was so big.
Yeah,
that's insane. But it is.
And you got to think the word of mouth is going to help too.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
But the reason why P.T. Anderson said that is because there are going to be 172 people in America who are like, oh man, Spider-Man sold out. Guess I got to go see Licorice Pizza.
So I like when there was a really funny anecdote when we went to the theater that Ben was telling me about. Tell him about the West Side thing, Ben. Do you remember?
What thing about the West Side?
About the audience.
So as we're about to go into the theater, Matt goes in to get our seats. I go to grab a beer. And there are just a ton, like a flood of like 80 something people who are coming out of the theater. And I'm just like, man, looks like word of mouth on West Side. It's obvious that they're leaving West Side Story. Like, looks like word of mouth has really like done good. I mean, like this theater looks packed. I mean, there are tons of people walking out. And then I mentioned it to the bartender, and she's like, "Oh no, it's like an old people or a church group. They rented the entire theater out."
Wait, and I will say
they were the only people there. They were the only people in the entire theater not watching Spider-Man.
Yeah, Patrick hit it. It's very much Passion of the Christ crowd. Now, I will say, by the way, and I feel bad that it performed very poorly, but I did see West Side last weekend. I thought it was fucking phenomenal. I think they did
I'm excited to see it.
An amazing job shooting it, an amazing job with the script. I told Ben, this was like one of the weirdest things I'd seen. It almost looked like a writing exercise. I know that original script by heart. I mean, literally by heart. And they took the exact same script, and it's the same scenes and the same, like, here's where the scene begins, here's what has to happen in the scene, here's where it ends. But they rewrote everything in between. So, like, all of the dialogue of that scene, everything is accomplished the same. All the characters have the same motivations and things, but they've rewritten the dialogue and made it better and in a much cleaner script, which I think was phenomenal. Yeah, I loved it. It was 2.5 hours that flew by for me. Like
that's
flew
why
by.
Katie and I didn't see it. We had 2 hours to kill, so we went to Encanto.
Well,
how was Encanto?
It's definitely a Lin-Manuel song movie, for better or worse. Animation was phenomenal. The animation was phenomenal. I give it a B-.
Okay.
If you have an itch to scratch in the Lin-Manuel Miranda song movie category, go see Encanto.
Tick, tick, boom. Tick, tick, boom. Just watch Tick, tick, boom.
That's probably better.
Now, there one of the year-end things I do want to talk about, and this is, I'm very glad that we have Beth on the podcast to discuss this. And we could try to
Patrick, have you met Beth before?
Oh, no, I'm really excited.
Oh, Beth, Patrick, Beth. You're meeting on screen.
I've listened to you for a long time.
Designed to penetrate gently but deeply into a horse's body, working places not easily reached with massage, lasers, or other methods.
We got it, Beth. I got
It's
it.
too long.
No,
It's
it's
too long.
it's very
Too long
long.
of a
It
drop.
takes a long time to get
Too long of a
through.
drop.
We need to find a happy medium with that. But Beth, I'm
We gotta pay an
curious.
editor.
What were your feelings about the Succession finale?
Ooh, I liked it, and I watched it twice because Ben wasn't home, so I watched it once alone.
Designed to penetrate.
No, sorry, no.
All right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it was so good. I really loved it.
I did as well. I think what I kind of like about that show, especially this season, is that it's kind of like a mystery novel that you get to your finale and there's like 7 different ways you could go. There's 7 different people that could be the murderer or the one orchestrating things, and you've laid all of these breadcrumbs for different things to happen during the season. And I like what they chose for their thing, mainly because it is it is very telegraphed, but it was not something I realized was like I didn't know where that storyline was going, and I'm trying to not be spoilers with the character I'm talking about. But going back, like this is the first season for sure. I want to watch again, not just because I like the dialogue, but because I want to watch that arc unfold because I think it is flawlessly put together.
I think you can telegraph straight up and not have any real surprises, and there's a way to do that. If the performances are good, if everything makes sense, if the writing is tight, I'm no longer concerned about telegraphing stuff as long as the execution is 100%. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think they nailed it.
I'm also interested in seeing it again, but or kind of looking back through it. But I think that there was a line that particularly got me from Kendall, which is, and I'm not spoiling anything, because it's from previous seasons. But his delivery of "I killed a guy" to his siblings is so good, and their reaction is fucking awful and hysterical. Like,
isn't it Roman that's just like, so you killed a guy, I killed a guy, she killed a guy, we all killed a guy.
Like, everybody's killed a guy.
Are we talking about Anchorman?
No, Succession.
But totally like not complete, not completely out of the there's some cross pollination there. I feel like almost.
I was so happy with the finale and just everything with the pieces falling together and how they did, and I mean, and I can't remember if it was either you, Ben, or my brother had talked about like one of their favorite lines, and it wound up being very kind of prescient is I've seen you get fucked. I've never seen Logan Roy get fucked.
That was your brother, yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, it's so good. If you guys are, again, we've said it so many times in the show, but if you're not watching Succession, you are missing out on just some phenomenal good TV.
Well, it was interesting.
And if you're not, you already know who's killed a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna remember. Nick, what character killed a guy?
They've all killed a guy.
No, that was more jokey, but yeah, you don't know.
But Beth had told me that apparently I didn't realize that Jeremy Strong, is kind of like a method actor, and that apparently that whole scene was kind of difficult to film. But I also listened to an interview with Kieran Culkin, and I found something kind of interesting, which was that first off, the role Alan Ruck's character was originally a girl, and that Shiv was a guy. And that they redid that early on. But also the funny thing was that the writers, they said they cast it really well. They could tell it was really good. They shot the pilot, and then the writers was just like, oh, this is completely different than what we thought it was. Like, we're making something completely different than what we thought we had based off of the performances, because Kieran Culkin was like, that role like that Alan Ruck plays was not on the page that way.
Yeah.
But he brings like this weird idiosyncratic thing to it. So then all of a sudden the writers are just like, oh, like we can make him kind of more of a doofus, like make him a little bit more kind of gaudy and sort of, awkward. And but it was interesting hearing that, just because they were just like, oh no, like now that we see what the performances are, now we can really lean in and like help develop help develop the performances from a writing standpoint. Based off of what the actors are actually doing.
Yeah, so. It is very clear that you start with script where actors are reading for these parts and reading these things, right. And then as you get in season 2 and now season 3, now you see writers writing for the actors and getting that stuff.
Well,
out.
Beth told me that Jeremy Strong was originally going out for Roman for Kieran Culkin's character, which I didn't realize either.
I know Beth. So that article, so it was a big Variety article that came out right after the kind of cliffhanger episode, second to last episode, and the final episode, which I think a ton of that article and a ton of that interview was done purposely to just drum up what you were maybe expecting to be the beginning of that last episode to be. But it is a very unsympathetic view of Jeremy Strong, of that he is not necessarily well liked by the rest of the cast. And also my favorite line is there's a bit where it's supposed to be him talking to Kieran Culkin, and Kieran Culkin's like, he turned to Kieran Culkin, he goes, do you think this is a comedy? And Kieran Culkin's like, yes, of course. And he's like, I don't. And I don't know if that's real or not, but it is so fitting with the character he is playing, who does not get the humor or joke, that I think it's perfect. And I wonder if that is part of why this show works so well, is that a lot of these people are a lot more like their characters in their dynamics, which might make some good electricity on screen. But so I wanted to do. It is Christmas time, as we discussed the last episode with terrible Christmas songs. But I thought, since we've got a few of us here, I'd kind of like to get some opinions on Christmas traditions, and if you guys maybe have anything that you would like to share that you think is a unique Christmas tradition that you share, that you celebrate, that maybe you thought everyone did, and then you found out no, we don't. What's that? What's that, Patrick?
Everybody does that.
You mean not everybody does Christmas bukkake?
Jesus.
Well, what are you depressed by?
Let's know.
Let's start with you, Patrick. Do you have any Christmas traditions that you like to observe during this time of year?
Well, it's my mom's birthday is Christmas Eve.
Oh wow!
So that kind of like takes most of our momentum, like the night before or the day before. So when I think of Christmas and going home, it's usually spend time with my mom. That's what I think of.
Okay.
You know, she loves Bailey's, so I love my mom.
That's good.
I think
so that's about. Maybe get back to me, but that's my impulse.
How about you, Beth?
I think Beth can.
Oh, I have many.
Oh, let's hear. I'm so excited.
So I too come from a Christmas family. My grandmother's born on Christmas Day. Her name is Mary, Merry. And so Christmas was her jam.
Did not know that.
Yes.
I don't think I did either.
And, so like she always did Christmas big. So it is sad that now that she's older, she's in like a nursing home and can't do all of that. But we still try to celebrate and have lots of fun. I don't know, a lot of our stuff, I think I said I have a lot, but maybe I don't. They're just things that I do then every year leading up to Christmas. Like I don't make Chex Mix any other time of the year, but
wait, hold on a second. Have we talked about this?
You can buy that.
Stop. Did
you said that, Patrick?
He did.
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm fucking muting him out here. First of all, I don't know if you know my love affair with Chex Mix, especially for like. How come I've never had your Chex Mix?
I'm pretty sure you have.
Have I?
I'm pretty sure you had some last time you were at our house.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Did I?
You probably
on Thanksgiving.
You love it. You love my Chex Mix.
I love all Chex Mix. I believe this. I don't have any recollection.
So here's the thing, and this isn't like a passed down tradition. There was one February we went to a beach weekend with Ben's family,
St. George Island,
and his Aunt Nancy made Chex Mix, and that was the first time I've had real Chex Mix, not from a bag, and I like made myself sick on it.
It's a game changer.
And so then I was like, I have to make this, and didn't realize how easy it was. And so
I think I'm
now,
ignorant as to what this is.
It's like, Chex Mix. You know what it is, but the way you
coat it in the white chocolate, right?
No, stop that. What is this?
It's a little spicy, a little salty.
There's Tabasco.
Worcestershire.
It's a lot of butter.
Bar food appetizer.
Fresh out of the oven because you bake it, and then it's so good when it's hot.
We're talking about cereal.
This slander on Chex Mix from you two both stop right now because Beth is telling me food porn over here. But
I love food. I mean, I'm cooking right now. I love food.
It is hot and buttery and delicious. It is
so good.
Amazing
and a little spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like 3 different kinds of Chex, Cheez-Its, and pretzels.
And then nuts.
You can't forget
and
the
then
nuts.
there's like butter, garlic, seasoning salt, onion powder.
The way you two tag team nuts on that was erotic.
Well, I mean, the thing was, Beth has made 2 batches, and so the first batch was just peanuts, and the second time she's like, "I'm about to get wild with this shit."
Yeah,
I'm putting in cashews.
Well, I did cashews and peanuts.
Cashews and peanuts.
Because I had to stop. I had to stop doing peanuts when my mom would be here because she's allergic to them, but she wasn't here, so that's what we went.
You went all nutty. You went oops, all nuts. Chex Mix.
Anyway, so Chex Mix, big part of Christmas, and then Christmas Eve we have pierogi, and that's always been something in my family.
I don't know that tradition.
We are well, when I was a kid, we'd like make them by hand and do all. We're Polish, and but now we just buy Mrs. T's or Mrs. What's her name? Anyway, whatever the the boxes from the
Mrs.
store.
Pierogi.
Fry them up, and they're delicious.
Mr. T's is
pities
the
the
Bloody
poor
Mary
beast
mix.
of the
I was like, they went from Bloody Mary mix to pierogies. They can do anything.
Mrs. Paul, I don't know, whatever her
I
name
mean,
is.
to be
She
fair,
makes a good pierogi.
I would drink the shit out of a Bloody Mary that had a pierogi on like a little
Why don't
umbrella.
they do that?
Oh, dude, that
I
would be
was
so
thinking
good.
of a pierogi filled with Bloody Mary, like a
Oh
soup
no,
dumpling.
I was thinking like a like that. That's part of the accoutrement of like the top of a
Like
Bloody
a
Mary.
soup dumpling with Bloody Mary. in it.
Yes. Someone gets what I'm talking about. That's my Christmas
you.
tradition.
That's
Maybe I'm
obviously
overstepping
far worse than what I was talking about.
and then
maybe
just,
I'm overstepping my bounds, but like I have a favorite Finn Cannon Christmas family.
ooh,
tradition.
oh, baking day.
Yeah, baking day, the Dixie
Yeah.
Fried Chicken.
Yeah, we just did that last weekend.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks before Christmas, we go out to my other grandmother, her birthday's Valentine's Day, but we go out to her house, and my family makes old school candy fudge, not like the thick kind with marshmallow, but like actually boils it, and so we
good.
make that and all kinds of cookies and treats, and then
I make 60 mason
Jen
jars
makes eggnog,
of eggnog.
and then we deliver it.
Fuck,
to
that's what
people.
we forgot. We didn't remember to bring that over from Matt.
Oh.
I will come get it from you on the 30th or
Okay.
31st.
Got two cooking Christmas traditions. One is when I moved to LA, we would do gingerbread houses. But my buddy who lived off Olympic Avenue overlooked the 20th Century Fox building, so we'd make gingerbread Nakatomi plazas.
Yeah.
What's that?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Well, you know what? That's actually a really interesting segue here, and I want to get back to some more Christmas traditions, but I want to get into something for a second here. So this is our last podcast of the new way for 2021. We have produced 33 brand new episodes this year. We covered westerns, we covered mythology. Two of us were brave enough to tackle martial arts films. Our super fan Patrick created a new way drinking game. That was this year, guys. We have a new way drinking game now out. Ben Wilson put together an inexplicable Werner Herzog trivia episode, which I believe I'm about 500% positive it is the only one of existence ever, and it'll stand the test of time as being far ahead of itself. But we fell short. And I take a lot of blame for this. We did fail you a little bit. Every year since Nick spurred us to start the new way back up in 2017, we have done a musical episode. Every year we've had
I failed you.
Well, we've had a musical episode. And we have, we've seen a lot. We had Nick do a Die Hard musical.
I am John McClane.
Ben tackled Interview with the Vampire.
Open up my evil eyes, 'cause I'm just a vampire.
And I even did a cult hit of Roadhouse the Musical. But one man rips out actual throats. I mean, it's real fucked up. So we have delivered a lot, and I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We don't ever phone in our musicals, and I think that's why we didn't quite get there this year. But you know what? It's Christmas. I even tried, by the way, to put together a parody for this night, which I didn't. No, I did not.
I should have sent you what
I did not do the parody. The only one that completed their work was Ryan. God bless him. Sent me an entire track of him doing the Dave Seville part in the Chipmunk song. But I'm going to save that for next year. We'll get to it.
I guess Ryan is the only one not staving off daily anxiety attacks.
Ryan really came through and sent me something last night. I felt so bad. I still was feeling upset about this, and we also, I think, bit off more than we could chew by making our musical like open field.
Bad
of,
idea.
Like having no parameters
Bad
on it.
idea.
And we're too much. So
I like it. I just couldn't get my shit together. proverbial shit together.
Well, I didn't want to leave our fans empty-handed, and I had gone through about 7 starts and stops of musicals, and I had one that I was going to actually do as my main thing, but I had 3 short songs and I couldn't come up with any more, and it also didn't fit my normal bill of like, I like talking about the staging and stuff. This was my Tick Tick Boom. It was my concept album, and I specifically wrote that. I hope everyone enjoys it, but I think Nick specifically is going to like this. I kind of took a page out of the documentary Hearts of Darkness, which was about the troubled making of Apocalypse Now, and I said, what if I did a concept album about some people involved in a movie and what was their thought process in deciding to do that movie? And I picked a movie that I can say with pretty good certainty, Nick Santa, it's on his radar quite a bit. So I'm gonna get into this right now. This is my concept album that I'm calling Mushroom Kingdom of Hell. And this is going to be about the making of the new Super Mario Brothers movie. And if you don't know about this out there, there is a lot of discussion about the voice casting in the Mario Brothers movie. We've got Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, and many, many others. But I thought I wanted to get into the heads of these 3 guys. And what better way to do it than make songs that they have done, that they have performed themselves in popular media. So for your listening pleasure from Mushroom Kingdom of Hell, I'm going to do 3 little songs for you. And we're going to start off with Bowser's Balancing Act. This is a song for the actors. But internet, listen closely. You don't always have to take that part. In fact, sometimes that's not right to do. Sometimes you gotta tell them no and fucking give up some moolah too. Sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you gotta say no. Sometimes you gotta say, hey, not fucking doing it. Softly, I'm saying no thanks gently. It's a big fuck no. Sweetly, I'm gonna ghost you completely. And then they say, hey, won't you play Bowser? And then I say, hold on Miyamoto. You gotta have someone else in mind you could use instead of me. That's fucking casting. Who would fans prefer? That's just the thing, they'll hate my casting just because of Chris Pratt. Should I just defer? They're not gonna buy it, but they'll stream it from Hulu Plus. So then I'm gonna slay this completely, and then I'll fucking kill it discreetly. And then you'll fucking love me completely, 'cause then I'm gonna rock this. Sorry about this.
Hard, hard, hard.
Came through at the end.
Thank you, Ben.
We had to do. Oh, I think Nick was doing it too.
Oh. It seemed like there were a lot of people on there.
Of an angel.
So that's the probably the least controversial of the casting is probably Jack Black, but we start to get a little bit trickier. So this is Charlie Day with Luigi's Lament. Well, I did the Lego movie. My agent said no more for me, 'cause I'm the breakout star when it's sunny in Philly. Big movies are the way to go, but old Charlie disagrees, 'cause I want to voice Luigi. There's a role for me, and he's a number 2. His brother Mario is a plumber too. It's Luigi.
Jesus.
I like Luigi. Love my Nintendo when since long ago. I want to play Luigi.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow.
Dragon.
Bingo.
Birdlord.
Mamma mia.
A rat. A scorpion. I don't care, man.
I'm a Luigi.
I want to play Luigi. And
that's fucking production value.
that by the way is the Patty's Pub song from Sunny in Philadelphia, just in case you didn't catch. Now here's the mode.
Yeah.
Now we've
I was expecting Dayman.
I tried. And part of why this took so long was I tried very hard to do that and could not. So our final is, of course, the very controversial casting of Chris Pratt as Mario. And this is going to test all of Nick's patience to listen to this song.
Should I go on mute?
Just listen.
Do you do this in an Italian accent?
Well, you're about.
He already said he's not doing it.
You're about to find out. So here we go.
Oh no, not the little.
Back on Parks and Rec. Here's the thing. Andy Dwyer became your king. But now you've all said goodbye. I took a running leap and I don't know why. Why play this Italian? Face the internet battalion. I was their rapscallion. Now I'm 5,000 down votes in the wind. Some say we all miss you every day. We love Guardians of the Galaxy. Now on their keyboards they unload, saying Chris Pratt's Star-Lord is a fucking chode. Oh, why play this Italian? He's a plumber, not a stallion. I'll win no medallion, 'cause I'm 5,000 down votes in the wind. Maybe someday I'll get another chance, 'cause they know my Andy was their favorite bromance. Come on, let's go. It's me, I'm Mario. So that's my tick tick boom of the new Mario Brothers movie.
Wow.
You managed to make Chris Pratt a little more likable. Congratulations.
You know what? It hurt going through that process of that song. I do believe in a lot of that I said there. But anyway, so I didn't want to leave our listeners without some musical content for the year of 2021.
So does that mean that when we eventually get to our musical episode, you'll have new material?
I'm going to do something new. Yes, I'm going to do something new for
B-sides.
our yeah.
Look
this is
at
my
you.
B-sides
Matt,
for it.
I like the concept of each actor singing to the tune of a song that they themselves made famous. Nice touch.
That was it was better than my other ideas. I can say that.
The synergy's there.
It's thank you. I appreciate it. It was my goal to do such a thing. But so that was our again. A thank you to all of our listeners for sticking by us all year, and hopefully you enjoyed. Pardon me, I'm grabbing a beverage here. Hopefully you enjoyed what we had to Did you pour a waffle in?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, that's my beer tomorrow morning.
I'm having waffles for dinner.
Thank our listeners, Matt. Thank our listeners.
I was
tuning
trying.
out.
I was trying to. Thank you so much for listening to us all year. And as usual, we do listen to anything that you want to suggest or you'd like to hear more of. We're especially getting to a point where we are running out of non-Marvel Ghostbusters and Aliens topics to discuss, and you're going to just hear more of those episodes. Or, and this is to Mark, if he doesn't give us something good to do, we will do all cats and all emo rock, which I realized the only thing that Mark hates more than cats was your discussion of Fall Out Boy the other day.
Mark, if you don't get us more material after that, we'll just go on a social justice tear and talk about how Jay Johnston, Jimmy Pesto was an insurrectionist, and we'll have a whole episode on Jeff Garland, and it will be painful.
I had like 50 episodes like queued up in my head, and then Vagrant stole my thunder, and they did Vagrant 25 years on the streets podcast. So yeah, unfortunately we can't do the emo rock side project here.
That was met with much discussion, which kind of cracked me up. So thank you again to all of our listeners for listening to us for all this time. So I did want to
And also, you're welcome.
Okay, we're not doing that.
You're welcome.
So I did want to kind of go around the room and kind of find out. I know, like, obviously Ben and Nick and I have talked about many things that we've really enjoyed throughout the year, but I kind of wanted to find out if there's anything that maybe we haven't talked about on air, and specifically Beth. I'd love to hear some of your favorites from the year. What things you liked in pop culture, whether it's music, movies, TV, books, anything you want to do.
All right, cool. You want me to go first?
I mean, I can give you, if you'd like to take some time, I can go to Ben first.
Sure. I'm opening up my Netflix app to see what I watched this year.
Is there anything embarrassing or incriminating on your Netflix watch list?
No, not at all. I'm not embarrassed of anything.
I wish Netflix did like a Spotify Wrapped.
Yeah.
I also love that I can't
this
see.
Is how we categorize you.
Patrick just came through like the shadow. Like I couldn't see him. I just heard his voice in the background.
He's tending to his meats.
Yeah, I apologize, listeners. I thought this was 3 hours later.
It's fine.
It's totally okay. Ben, do you have anything that we haven't maybe necessarily discussed? I mean, you could also talk about Wheel of Time, of course.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about Wheel of Time. There's been a lot. It's been kind of intimated on the podcast. There's been a lot of fan backlash of from the books. Because they've changed a lot of stuff just thematically and with some of the characters, because the books, there are 16 books essentially, and you just can't get through all that content in 7 or 8 seasons, which is kind of what they're trying to plan on. They've been greenlit through 3 seasons. So they're skipping a lot of stuff, and they're kind of, retconning a bunch of stuff. And so obviously purists are just like, oh, that's shitty. Like, that's awful. But I've been enjoying. I think the casting's really good. I'm enjoying the show a lot. So that's been fun. Other than that, this year, I really, really, really like Tick, Tick, Boom. I think that's probably my favorite movie of the year. To date, at least at this point, I haven't seen West Side Story yet, and I think that I'm gonna enjoy that quite a bit.
I liked West Side a lot. Tick, Tick, Boom is more interesting to me. I think just of what they accomplish. But yeah.
But then again, also just Spider-Man definitely is a fun capper for this year. I was like, wow, that's it's going to be on my top 3 list no matter what probably comes out.
I agree with that.
So,
how about you, Nick? Do you have anything that's been kind of? I know you talked a little bit about Cowboy Bebop and Why the Last Man, which are both 2 properties. By the way, some of our other listeners talked a lot about really loving Cowboy Bebop and Why the Last Man. They had no tie to it whatsoever, and they were like, "Why is this getting canceled?
Why the Last Man is this getting canceled?"
Well, I mean, Why had a lot more reasons outside of fan vitriol and backlash, the likes of which I have honestly never seen, to be honest with you. I feel like the Star Wars hate and the Lady Ghostbusters hate by those neckbeards was more tame than by logging onto Facebook and looking at the Cowboy Bebop. It was like,
wow.
It was like they murdered the family dog in the dead of night and then sent them a photo album of the grisly murder step by step. It's like, guys, it's not going to be exactly like the anime, and a good adaptation should be. That aside, look, Cowboy Bebop was good. I enjoyed Y, although I have not finished it, and I heard it finished really strong. I just can't bring myself to watch it because it's been canceled, and it's sort of like, you know, I don't know.
What's the point?
Eventually, I will.
Yeah.
Eventually, I will get there, and I hear it's great. It's just a bummer that a cavalcade of circumstances prevented that from jumping mainstream.
I have a question, though. So I can't speak to Cowboy Bebop because all I saw was the trailer for it, and I haven't watched literally zero of it. I watched the pilot of Y the Last Man, but also I had followed Y the Last Man because I was super excited about it for years and years and years, and then I never watched any more of it. And my reason was that visually, it did not represent the way I anticipated. Does that make sense? Like it didn't feel like
right off the bat they show an iconic aerial frame from the original intersection of the busy street turned into a Y, and from that moment I actually kind of felt like they were kind of keeping those visuals in mind. I don't equate Y to a certain style. I equate it more to the performances because to me the art was great. Pia Guerrero did a great job, but it was really more about the writing of the characters, and so I was just expecting good performances, and I feel like that's the strongest part of the show, and that's what needed to be the strongest part of the show.
Yeah,
but
I mean, obviously, I'm not as beholden to it as you are because I know it's one of your favorite graphic novels, and I like I like Y the Last Man a lot, but I don't have the reverence for it that you obviously do. But when I watched the trailer, I remember feeling, to me, oh, this isn't quite. It didn't look like what I expected it to look like, if that made sense. Which is ironically, when I saw the trailer for Cowboy Bebop, I was like, that does look like what Netflix would do with a live action Cowboy Bebop. To me,
yeah, and to me, the look of Cowboy Bebop fit what I know of the anime. I would say, Ben, if you can get past that with Y, the strength of Y is in the performances, and the strength is in the new wrinkles that the concept brings up in modern day. You know, it was different when it was written.
Right.
They come up with some new angles, which I appreciated and I think was necessary. And
when was
I thought they actually ended up with pretty good tech.
Was Y 97?
I don't know, but that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
I think it's.
You know what I would say though. Honestly, the thing that I keep thinking about and what made a big effect on me is Get Back. Ben and I have talked about this. I was talking to my dad about this, and he said, you know, I loved it, but he's a huge Beatles fan, and I'm a huge Beatles fan. I was raised on it, and I feel like anybody who likes the Beatles would be surprised you could sit through 8 hours of this. But my dad told me, you know, I don't see how someone who doesn't love music or love the Beatles could watch it. But a friend's wife, who famously hates the Beatles, and it's like almost like a party trick, coming out and saying, "Yeah, I'm the one who hates the Beatles," and everyone, you know, is an uproar.
By the way, this person that Nick is referring to is actually Noel Gallagher.
It's not Noel Gallagher, but it just and Ben, you said it best. I think you said like it really humanizes those four guys in a way that you have not seen ever before. And I think that was the true accomplishment. And as a George fan, George is kind of my Beatle. You watch Get Back and it's hard not to like flip-flop back to Paul because he's the most charismatic motherfucker of all time. But seeing what George went through in these later stages of the Beatles as they were preparing to break up and leaving the band for days, like it was really, really interesting, and as a fan to see them in that light. And another thing that's kind of funny is they were so good about just being in the moment, and you really do feel like these filmmakers were flies on the wall. To today, all you would have to do is strap on a lav mic and shoot from afar, and you literally wouldn't even be within 10 feet of them, and it would be in HD. Back then, we got like a 30-foot boom pole with a microphone the size of your forearm right in their face, and yet they were still able to get comfortable enough to see us that slice of life, and it's just a really cool piece of history.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm super happy. I mean, I think that Peter Jackson's best work in the last decade has definitely been that, and
the World War II,
World War One. They will not grow old.
It's and it's really interesting because I there was a really good I forget who it was saying that like the Beatles documentary is the best worst movie ever made. Like it is something that you should watch and appreciate and see what that process is like for it, and it is excruciating, much like the process of creating is excruciating. So it's like it's not necessarily an enjoyable watch, but it's an important kind of view into that, and I think what you were a little bit what you were saying, Nick, like one of the my favorite things that I've got to at the like literally just 2 days ago to finish out this year, and I was telling Ben about it, is there's this like crazy interview with Ben Affleck on Stern this week that is like it's Ben Affleck sitting in a chair, like chain smoking and pouring out every fucking thought in his head, and I loved it. Like whether you like Ben Affleck or dislike Ben Affleck, or you want to pick apart.
Was your favorite part him blaming his alcoholism?
No. I'm gonna call bullshit on that because it's a soundbite that they picked up on, and if you listen to the whole fucking interview, it is not. It's not at all laid out like that.
What do you say? What do you say in recovery? The number one thing is you don't
blame. I've read all the talking points and all the articles that wanted to pick up on that one fucking soundbite because they loved it and it's fucking great.
Shitty.
I don't know. I
think it's just like Pratt. It's easy to take that post and like I don't believe he did that post to purposely be malicious towards his special needs son and Anna Faris, but it is thoughtless on a level that someone like that should be aware of and should be better.
I'm sorry, but if you haven't listened to I think not listening to the whole interview, it's a bullshit take on it. The whole thing he talks about is how they were trying to make it work because of the kids. They were trying to do a lot of things. They are completely still friends. She fucking put him into recovery. Like all of that is covered. He literally just says a very honest thing, which was like, I felt I was in a marriage where we were not in love with each other anymore, and we were staying together for the kids, and I felt trapped, and that was one of many reasons I started drinking. It's not like it's not a blame. I don't feel that that's a blame thing. That's saying, hey, there were 7 things that were happening in my life that led me to be depressed or to start drinking or start to do whatever. Like I think it's ridiculous. But where I was going with
Christmas.
that, where I was going with that is that he had a really interesting thing when he was talking about Good Will Hunting. And he's like nowadays the 4K chip in your iPhone can shoot better than what would have been a like $10,000 camera at the time that we were like trying to get Good Will Hunting made. And he goes, thank God that didn't exist at that time, because we would have shot it. We would have shot it on an iPhone. It would have been the original version of the script, which was terrible. And before we ran it through Castle Rock, and Rob Reiner took a look at it and gave us notes, and Michael Mann gave us notes. Like all these things are like, yeah, we would have shot this movie with us, and it would have been terrible. Like it would have been really bad.
Shit, Matt.
Yeah,
Matt. Did you see the news ticker that just came up?
I don't know.
Ben Affleck was at the insurrection. You want to keep sticking up for him?
Anyway, I will until I see the things until I watch that interview myself. I will hold my thoughts on it. But all right. So going back over to you, Beth. Do you have any things that you want to talk about from your best of year?
Sure. I took a look. So
obviously the Ben Affleck interview as well. Yes.
I literally don't remember anything that I watch or read. I'll just be like, oh, I really enjoyed this. And then, Ben remembers every detail about every movie he's ever seen.
Yeah, it's frustrating as fuck, isn't it?
Oh, it's not for me. It's just, it may be a frustrating experience for him to talk to me about movies, because I'm like, oh, I don't think I've seen that. And then he's like, we literally watched it on November 15th at 9:30 in the evening. Anyway, so I quickly scrolled through like what came out in 2021. I don't even remember. And some things that stuck out for me were WandaVision.
Yeah.
Which was not something I would have watched on my own, but Ben, was really like, you have to watch this. And just, I'm not, that's Marvel. I'm not like a big Marvel person. Not that I dislike it. I've enjoyed every Marvel movie I've seen. It just like takes a lot for me to have any interest to sit down and watch it. And I think it's just because there's so many movies that I
it's a little intimidating.
Yeah, I feel defeated because I'm like, well, Ben is the best person though, because he will answer all my questions. He is exasperated as he may be when I'm like, wait, pause
Not
it.
exasperated.
Well, I was gonna say you don't show it.
The only time I've been exasperated is when Matt's been drunk asking me questions about Wheel of Time.
First of all,
we had a lot of fun.
First of all, that was not just me. Beth and I did tag team you, and I'm not gonna lie,
not in the way I was hoping it would be that night. I was hoping for a different kind of tag team on Thanksgiving.
I have not enjoyed that series as much as I did watching that one episode.
Whenever there's like a potential sexual innuendo, I'm like, well, if only Matt were here.
Yeah. You got to invite me over for when is the finale?
Next week.
Oh shit! Can we watch it in South Carolina?
I mean,
will you have caught up by then?
I will make it my mission to catch up by then.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll talk about it when we're there. So then another thing that I watched that I definitely would not have watched had it not been for Ben was Midnight Mass, and I absolutely loved Midnight Mass.
Yeah. Me too.
It's just super outside my comfort zone as somebody because
it doesn't like scary stuff.
Yeah. And so, there are times where I'm like, where are we going with this? And just knowing that it was, again, I'm the worst person to have on the show, made by the creator of
Mike
Haunting
Flanagan,
of Hill House. And having Ben describe that in great detail to me and how horrifying it was, I had no interest in watching the show. But he promised me it wasn't going to be scary. And
Vampire Fantasy Island.
I almost just spit waffles out my nose, Pat. Vampire Fantasy Island is maybe the greatest. Like, if you were doing an honest
That's how
trailer,
Flanagan sold it to Netflix.
That is the honest trailer title for Midnight Mass.
Deep
And then just one more thing that I really enjoyed was Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Hell yeah!
Yes, we are split on this podcast about this.
I've only seen it once, but I truly feel like it's a movie that the more times that you watch it, it probably gets even more ridiculous and funny. And so I really do want to watch that again. And that popped up when I was looking for things that came out this year.
Yeah,
and I was like, that was a lot of fun.
It was so good.
You also like Ghostbusters.
I did.
Great movie. No one's going to argue that.
Is that the only movie, or have we gone to the movies twice now? I think that's the only movie I saw.
Only
this
movie
year.
you've seen this year.
Yeah, that's the only in the theater. So I haven't been to the movies since the pandemic, and then that is the one we went and saw, and it was fabulous. And I loved it, and my daughters loved it, and they were just so excited to see like a girl as the main character who was smart and kind of nerdy and funny and a badass, and they loved it. And that's what they even brought that up in the car, that it was cool to see a girl like that. And I was like, it is cool.
That's
and just
awesome.
how neat to be able to have that experience as a little girl, especially with I have daughters with similar interests and things like that. And
sports, molds, and fungus.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
He likes it.
You're so right, Beth. I love Ghost. We're all on the same page all the time.
How about you, Patrick? Any do you call some favorites?
Yeah. I think everybody lay down their couch. This was a weird transitionary year for me. So I think I aligned with escapism a lot this year for my media.
So I'm assuming Fast and Furious is number one.
Great British Bake Off.
Well, I mean, like I would text y'all photos from Disneyland pretty frequently.
Yeah, this is true.
I would just be by myself, like, hi, Mickey, come here, hug me.
Oh my god! One of these days, I'm going to make it out there with you.
Oh my god!
So
I'll give you a hug.
This was the year I got into Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
And you know, while watching it, it was this cool roller coaster of like, it was always on an upward positive trajectory with some like perfect dips of dark places that like just reminded you like these are humans and you're human. And like we would finish an episode and I would just look at my girlfriend and go, fuck this show. Damn. and that was really good because it made me like think about like, oh, like, try to be a good person. So I really like that show.
Because
you need a daily
ago.
You need a daily reminder because otherwise you're gonna wake up and you're like, I'm gonna fuck up somebody's day. But then you watch Ted Lasso and everything's okay.
That was the day he stopped making human meat and started making regular barbecue.
All work and no play makes Pat a dull boy.
Let's see. I think the one show, or I would say property, that I really leaned into was the Foundation series.
I keep hearing about this. That it's really good.
I don't think it's for everyone. I'm just gonna say that. Like I think if we go back to like Wheel of Time or like everything like Nick was saying about Cowboy Bebop and y'all's last podcast about like the fan base, what's on Apple TV is a stark difference in adaptation from the literature. And Asimov even said, if this ever gets made for film, you have to adapt it. So in like summer, I read all 7 books in preparation.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That gets dense at the end there.
Yeah. I loved it. There were times where I was like, okay, I need a break for a little while. But the show, they do some like visually stunning visually. Like I just like watching it. Like just put it on mute. It's beautiful. But they add this element that's not in the books where, and this is not a spoiler, is that there's 3 emperors and they're all clones of a seed, if you will. Like there was a respected emperor that everybody loved. And so they just decide, okay, we're just going to keep cloning this guy. And at any given time, there's 3 emperors. And it's this weird 400-year period where the clones start trying to have their own identity, try to be like, well, this is what I am going to be known for. But there's this back pressure to conform to the dynasty, if you will. And it's this really weird storytelling aspect that I loved watching for however many episodes it was.
Yeah, I know a couple of our other listeners have been talking about watching that. It said it's really, really good. So that's awesome. I'm super curious to check that one out. Now I did
everyone read the 7 books and
don't do that.
Watch, and then we'll all do a Foundation episode.
Yeah, well, actually, your homework for Christmas break is to read all of the 18 books of Wheel of Time.
No problem.
Yeah, you got to get through.
I went
all
to
of
art
those.
school. I went to 7 years of art school. Come on.
I actually have one other quick thing to throw out there too that I forgot to mention, which is actually recommended by Patrick. Is that my favorite podcast of this year is 60 Songs That Explain the 90s, which I have listened to probably I think they're like 58 episodes now or something along those lines, but I think I have listened to probably 40 of them.
And I know Patrick recommended it, but then when Ben recommended it to me as well instead of Patrick, then I listened to some of it, and now I want to listen to more of it.
Christmas.
I played the first 5 minutes of the Say It Ain't So episode, and he was hooked, Patrick.
Yeah,
so,
I have a
that's low hanging fruit.
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry, that's not correct. You played me fucking Eve 6, and I was hooked on it.
No,
the Say It Ain't So episode.
You played
played
me,
that
the
for me.
Eve 6
No,
bit about the guy talking about the guy from Blink 182, and I love that he's like,
no. First off, you're getting this completely
Third
wrong.
Eye Blind.
The Third Eye Blind,
Oh,
and it was
whatever.
Max
Same
from Eve 6 was the guy.
Yeah, same thing. I was totally right what I was saying. Anyway,
But Third Eye Blind, that is
Jenkins is
that's
a net negative.
It's a net negative, but still the whole thing where he's reading all of the quotes from the lead singer of Third Eye Blind. He's a living, breathing piece of cheese, and the guy's like, see, he still can't stop talking about food, like just making fun of him. I haven't laughed, and then there's a legitimate part where the host just laughs for 30 seconds about that comment, and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've heard on the radio on
I've got
internet for a long time.
I'm going to be driving for like a 50-hour road trip over the next 2 weeks. So I've loaded up my loaded onto my Spotify to listen to. But
It's educational.
Can you
as
repeat
well.
the name of the podcast just so our listeners? I think
It's
there's a
called
lot of our fans out there.
60 songs that define the 90s.
And it's only on
Spotify.
So you have to get it.
They have some good podcasts.
It's pretty good.
The exclusive side of things.
And I want to say, so the one last thing I want to briefly talk about, just because I can't remember the last time I've been so obsessed with something I haven't seen yet or heard about or had zero expectation for. But Ben
Everything, everywhere,
yes,
all the
Ben
time,
shared
all at
a
once, all the time.
trailer the other day for a movie called Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I've watched it at least once a day, every day.
Isn't that a Bo Burnham track?
It's close.
Well,
Which, by the way, we gotta say Inside. We gotta say Inside again.
and oh yes, yeah. And I mean, Inside was a huge thing for a lot of people. Fans of our show are big fans of that. But what's really interesting with this trailer. I had zero expectation. This movie is directed by, I love
Daniels.
It's two guys named Daniel, and they direct together as Daniels, which I think is one of the funniest fucking, like, it's very clearly tongue in cheek. It's not an on purpose thing. These are the guys that did Swiss Army Man, which Nick and I watched and really enjoyed. It's like way out there fucking movie.
So Beth, I was
like Bert and Birdie.
I was trying to show the trailer to Beth. Beth was like, I've already seen it. And it was because Andy Hull, who wrote the music, or was one of the co-writers of the music for Swiss Army Man, had shared it on his Instagram. And then so I'm sharing it, and Nick is like, oh, Allison produced this. So our friend Allison Carter from film school is one of the co-producers of the movie. I'm just like, shit, this is like getting better all the time. Like I'm really excited about this movie now.
I don't know if
Allison did Zola too, which is gonna kill it too. She's absolutely on a tear.
I don't know if I'm alone in this. All I kept, and I still feel it every time I watch this. It feels like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind to me in the best possible fucking way, with a way bigger scope. But there's this vibe to it that is like fantastical, but kind of sarcastic, but kind of I don't know. And then there's these like there are just these shots in the trailer like where the guy's head explodes into confetti that are so like outside of what you're expecting to see. They just really stuck with me watching it.
I'm so excited because I still remember when Sunshine came out in 2005. I was like, wow, Michelle Yeoh is doing a non-action movie role because she's a fucking phenomenal actress. It's going to be great to see her like in other stuff like that. And I still feel like she just hasn't gotten like a fair shake. And she's so good. She is just so good in everything that she's in. I think it could be one of those ones where it's just like, oh yeah, like this is like an Academy Award.
This is her,
actress.
I mean, she's in the new Avatar. She's actually hitting like a big third stride of her career right now, that I think is going to be pretty gigantic. But yeah, I everything about this movie looks unlike anything I've seen in such a good way, in a satisfying way, and I'm super excited for that. But is there anything anyone else wants to leave our listeners with for the end of the year? This is your last things to say for 2021.
Got two.
Oh, okay. Patrick's
okay.
Ready.
I'll go fast.
Do it.
It was the first movie I saw back in theaters was Cruella, and I loved it. I loved it.
So it's
So
the
that was
dark.
fast.
It's the Dark Knight, but with a girl.
I love that is your
loved
your description of. I love Cruella. It's got 4
It's got
acts.
4 acts.
Next.
Got 4. All right, next. So y'all have talked about What If a lot. I liked it. Star Wars Visions is better.
Ooh, okay.
There we go. That's a new one.
Hands
I have
down
not
better.
watched that.
It is phenomenal animation, and every episode is different animation. Like they outsource, like every animator is different for every episode. It's non-canon. It is just a celebration of Star Wars, and they get it right. And
Nice.
it is just really good stories, really good animation. I loved it. Just loved it. I've watched it twice. It's
That's
great.
awesome.
That is high praise. I am.
And
I'm
Pat
putting
would
that
know
on the
because
list.
Pat would know because he's currently in the windy, sandy dunes of Tatooine.
Grilling the meat of
Well,
the.
so I would like to say I had high praise for Patrick's meat, but I think only Nick is partaking.
yeah, I
want
to fucking get my hands on your meat, Patrick. It sounds like everyone is drooling over it right now.
People lining up
everywhere, man.
People are lining up to get
You've
Patrick's
had,
meat.
if I'm not, I don't want to speak out of school here, but there are famous people that have put your meat in their mouth and requested more of it. Am I correct on this?
I'm not that famous, man.
Don't sell yourself
Podcast.
short.
I went viral once or twice.
You are at least the third most famous person on this podcast. Right?
Did Elon baby bird his kid? Some of your meat.
I don't think Access had my meat. I'll change that. That's a good. You check that box.
Oh goodness!
You don't work there anymore. It's okay to bring it up.
And I think
Christmas.
I think anything, Beth, that you want to close out on?
Yeah, I was also just thinking about what was most entertaining to me this year, and honestly,
podcast.
Other than the New Way podcast,
Yes.
Oh,
that's sweet.
Was TikTok, which I
very good.
You know, I got on TikTok a few years ago, like I don't know. 2018, 2019, whenever it first kind of was getting big in the US, and I was like, this is dumb. I didn't like it, and I didn't get it, and maybe that's just me being old now. But I just wasn't seeing like good content there. It was mostly just people dancing or like lip syncing, not even like the viral dances, more just lip syncing. And I was like, why? I get it, lip syncing's fun. I get that, but I just didn't get it. Anyway, but I kind of got back to TikTok this year, and it's just a constant source of entertainment for me, and I really enjoy it.
When Nick was in town, we
oh god,
had a
this is
fun
so
party
good.
where we basically just sat around and casted everybody's TikToks to the TV, so we could learn all about what that person's deepest, darkest
TikTok
impulses
for
are.
you page roulette, baby.
Yeah, thank you, Ben. So I highly recommend this to any of you out there that watch TikTok, and especially if you're in a group where there's like one or two that aren't on it, that makes it even better. But this was Beth or Nick. One of you.
It was me.
It's Beth's idea,
It was Beth.
which was basically that you cast your For You page, basically your thing on TikTok for like 15. It was like a 15-minute stretch. You're not allowed to skip anything. You just have to go like thing by thing, and everyone gets to watch it and judge you based on what you're looking
You've already
at.
You've already logged all these hours. The algorithm knows exactly what you want, and if a bushy eyebrowed makeup tutorial comes up first, you just have to let it play and be embarrassed, I guess.
I think my favorite bit was all of Beth's were like these guys with long black hair
it's
and black beards,
wafy, bearded, tatted guys. I'm
And-
like, well, I'm halfway there.
So like it got to like the third
get you there,
time.
Benny.
It got to the third one. I was like, God, they keep showing this guy, and Beth goes, No, those are all different guys. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Well, I think to end the podcast, Beth, what do you
Designed
want to
to
tell Joe
penetrate
Byron
gently,
right now?
but deeply into a horse's body.
That's it.
Working
Stop right
places
there. You
Step on
stop
my
right
joke
there.
with the soundbite for the third
lasers, or
goddamn
other
time. You're
methods.
gonna step on my joke. You know what? Come 2022 can't come soon enough. Can't come soon enough.
I get to see you in a week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Well,
Hopefully.
I did tell Nick
If I am out of quarantine.
I told Nick if he is not out of quarantine, I'm going to buy an earpiece and I'm going to dress up like him at his house. And I'm going to be Nick for his family. And he's going to just feed me lines. And I'm going to just walk around and respond
Surrogate
as Nick.
Nick.
That's right. Yeah. I'm going to need a really good wig.
I told Matt he probably knows me good enough not to need any tips. He can just riff.
We'll see.
I'll tell you something.
And by the way, also, I think we've talked about it so much on the podcast, but things I'm thankful for this year really are, I'm going to say it, Disney. And Disney has put out
to give us a clean break.
Disney has put out so much good shit.
I thought you were about to be like super sentimental. Just be like, I'm really just thankful for my friends.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't care
my
about
friends are here yet. No,
but no, it's Disney.
We don't get that until Matt's drunk.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are any of you releasing the Book of Boba Fett that is still not even come out this year? And we're not even. We have so much good shit from Disney that we're not even like excited about
Pineapple Dole Whip.
Matt has lost control of the podcast.
I just think it's amazing that like we still have another giant Disney property coming out this year, and we're like, we've had so many Disney things. We don't even care. Like no one's talking about Book of Boba Fett. It's crazy. A year ago, that would be unheard of. So I'm thankful for Disney, and then second to Disney, all of you in an order that I'm not going to release, but you know who you are in the first places, and who's last. You know who you are.
I'm last.
Look to your left. Look to your right.
Anyways, I want to thank you guys so much for joining us. Patrick, thanks for taking time away from your meet to go through some therapy with us on here.
So wait, right before you sign off, Patrick, are you actually going to be in Ireland or whatever when that Vagrant thing?
Yeah, we've got a wedding in Ireland. Yeah, for Memorial Day weekend.
Too bad. I'm coming out there.
Yeah. I will say Thrice put out one of my favorite albums this year.
Whoa, nice.
Good.
Other things to like. Thrice's new album.
I mean, we could talk music. I could talk about the good music from this year, but I guess we don't have time.
Manchester Orchestra.
Well,
people that listen to your podcast apparently don't like
Dream Theater released a banger of an album.
I think we should absolutely have a music-centric podcast episode in the new year. And Beth, I think you and Patrick and Nick should definitely all be on for this because I can't talk about anything. So I'll just sit back and let you guys discuss.
The best albums of the year were Sloth Rust, Biffy Clyro, and Dream Theater. That's it.
None of the words you
Manchester
said made
Orchestra.
any sense.
Thank you.
Manchester Orchestra is a little bit big.
Oh,
Billie Eilish had a great album.
Billie Eilish,
yeah.
She made top 10.
I would say Phineas had a great album. Billie Eilish was featured on it, but that's just my personal opinion. I think he's the brains and talent behind that whole operation, but that's just me. Anyway, well, thank you so much for listening to the New Way podcast. We'll be back with new episodes at some point in the new year. We're going to take a little break. Enjoy the holidays. We hope you do as well. And we hope you enjoyed listening. We'll talk to you next time. I'm not going to count it down because Nick apparently gets very angry when I do it. So I'm just going to say
Cheers. Christmas.
Christmas.
Cheers.